Something just killed my dog.
Something killed your dog?
My dog went flying through the air over the tree. I don't know how it did it.
Okay.
The rainforests of Asia harbor many stories of strange encounters. 1,000 miles north of Malaysia, deep in the jungles of Laos, exists what many believe is a relative of America's legendary Bigfoot. The year was 1966. America's at war with Vietnam. For the first time ever, U.S. soldiers are faced with full-scale jungle warfare. As military missions take forces deep into the heart of the Indochinese forest, extraordinary stories begin to filter back from the field. Stories about encounters with strange creatures. As a young soldier in Vietnam in 1969, veteran Tom Jacobs was often sent on reconnaissance missions into the thick jungle. One day, though, he witnessed something he will never forget.
We really didn't know what it was. It sounded like the North Vietnamese were attacking us with tanks.
A band of large primates began throwing rocks at his platoon.
I had heard that there had been previous problems with what we called rock apes. And in fact, at one point, a band of them threw one Marine off the rock pile. And so we were wary of them, without a doubt.
What Sergeant Jacobs had seen may have been any one of a number of primate species which inhabit the Indochinese forest. But several times, he says, they came face to face with a creature that was entirely different.
This animal was stockier. He was of darker color, a lot more muscular. This different creature would, early in the morning, burst out of the jungle into a clearing and just rail at us, just yell and scream and shake his fists. And it was very human behavior, and it was real obvious that he took exception to our presence there.
During the Vietnam War, it wasn't only American soldiers who had run-ins with what appeared to be a type of Bigfoot. On the North Vietnamese side, there were also bizarre reports of a strange creature attacking soldiers in the jungle. One of Vietnam's most respected biologists, Professor Vo Quy, was called in to investigate.
When I go there, many people of this area, the tribal people, told me a lot of story about the white man and make me thinking about this species. Maybe this white man exists in a tropical area, like Vietnam or in Laos. I asked my friend, he's a soldier working in the forest in Laos, and he told me that he saw with his binocular big animals.
The oddest tale he encountered involved American GIs who allegedly captured an ape man from the region.
A helicopter come from the base in the high mountain and bring something strange, a monkey, a big monkey, and they stay in the airport 1 hour, and then they flew maybe to Da Nang.
This account matched the growing number of stories in the U.S. press about a large primate interfering with military movements. But the mystery doesn't end there. 9,000 miles away in Chico, California, around 1967, an unusual carnival display begins to draw crowds. Called the Minnesota Iceman, this creature created such a commotion that Belgian zoologist Bernard Hubelmans examined the specimen. He came to the conclusion it was a new species and gave it a name, Homo pongoides. But after its whirlwind tour around the country, the corpse disappeared and was never seen again. Promoter Frank Hansen would not comment on the origins of the Minnesota Iceman, but rumors over the years have consistently pointed to the source of this bizarre creature as Indochina. The strongest link yet. Iceman promoter Frank Hansen had been a fighter pilot during the Vietnam War. His unit was stationed in Da Nang at the same time as GIs claim they saw an ape man being airlifted out of town. Could the answer to this mystery lie in the thick jungles of Indochina? Laos, a land of spiritual beauty, forever pockmarked by heavy bombing during the Vietnam War. For almost 10 years, American planes dropped bombs 24 hours a day in the jungles along its borders. The aftermath of war left the country geographically fragmented, and much of it uninhabitable. Which is precisely why journalist Linda Moulton Howe, a leading Bigfoot expert, believes that a mysterious creature, even an Asian Bigfoot, may still live here in the abandoned jungles of Laos.
As an investigative reporter, it is one of the most satisfying things in the world, is to go on the trail of something like this mystery.
Asia is home to at least 4 major areas of Bigfoot sightings. In the Himalayas, it is known as the Yeti. In China, the Yiren. In Vietnam, the Noi Rong. But here in Laos, they call it the Forest Man.
Even the last ice age, which is the last 10 or 12,000 years, didn't penetrate into this region. So when you consider that they have now found 3 mammals that no one knew existed, there's the possibility that scientists are eventually going to discover this tall, hairy hominid that's been described by villagers there for decades, if not centuries.
Laotian zoologist Kamkun Kunbalin considers this area a fertile nest for new species. In 1992, he was part of a team that discovered the Sao Lao, a mammal related to the ox family that was previously unknown to science.
In the area that I found the Sao Lao species there, there are this very high diversity. So I hope that in this area we can find more new species.
It was also in this area that Kamkun discovered an unusual footprint that convinced him a much larger creature existed in the jungle.
It's not bear, it's not woman. The local guy said this species is dangerous. If find the people, then can kill the people.
Clues are few and far between. Stories from Vietnam vets, reports from local scientists, and phantom prints in the mud. Linda Moulton Howe believes that further evidence will be found along the old Ho Chi Minh Trail, where many witnesses claim to have seen the creature. This is one of the first journeys across Laos in search of information that will better identify this elusive creature. From the capital, Vientiane, it's 2 days' journey by road to Sepon, close to the Vietnam border.
We are here on Ho Chi Minh Trail, just close to Vietnamese border, and we go along the road number 9. It's a bumpy road.
At the market in Sepon, farmers gather to barter, trade, and exchange their wares. And on a good day, bizarre stories of strange encounters. With a reconstruction drawing of the Minnesota Iceman, Moulton Howe and translator La Noi search for clues to build a better identification of the creature. Within hours, they locate an eyewitness.
Yes, in the American War.
In the American War, soldiers in Qumran province saw this forest man.
Yes, they did. They saw this in Qumran province.
And was he one of the soldiers?
This former Laotian soldier claims that during the Vietnam War, he saw a reddish-black forest man.
It
made a distinct sound.
It sounds like egg. It's like a monkey man.
As night falls, another eyewitness comes forward. Local villager Buntam Sankam presents Linda with what he claims is recent physical evidence. Sankam's brother found what he calls forest man hairs in one of his traps.
เราบ่ได้พยายามนะเราไปก็เห็นแบบมุนมันแล้วก็ไม้ที่อ้อมคางมันหักเอาไป
When he returned to look at his cage, it was broken into small pieces.
แล้วก็มุนแล้วก็มันไปง่อยอยู่มุนหินนั้นอันตัวสัตว์อันนั้นนะแล้วก็เบิ่งเชือกแนว
And when he looked over the broken cage, he found it had a bad smell.
อันนั้นมันถึงแหวมันขึ้นไปง่อยมุนหิน
He saw tracks going up and down the rock, and he knew it must be this animal.
ห้อยมันนะพัฒนา
The tracks and prints were more like that of a human
เป็น
being,
สิ่งที่สัตว์ที่แบบ
and the hair was not like that of an animal.
Sankum demonstrates the shape and human size of the print and describes it as oval with no claws. He also remembers his brother's impression of the size of the beast.
ใหญ่ไหน
Big, really big. The creature was about 6 feet tall.
The following morning, Molten Howe decides to speak to Sankam's brother herself. His home is just outside Villaburi, not far from the Vietnam border. From here, the journey becomes risky. Undiscovered bombs exploding off the beaten track are a tragic but normal occurrence here.
Laos was one of the heaviest bombed areas. They dropped more ordnance here than they dropped in Vietnam.
Tom Roberts is from Mill Search, a company hired by the government to clear unexploded bombs.
Between Sepon and Billaburi was fairly well hit because Route 911 was one of their main roads, so it got a lot of attention. We actually had a bomb go off in the middle of it last October. Closed the road for about 3 months. It was right in the centre of the road.
9 hours travel over dangerous roads in an old Russian military vehicle. These adverse conditions may explain why so little research has been done on the forest man of Indochina. Close to the Vietnam border, this region of Laos is rife with sightings of a mysterious creature. Traveling just 21 miles on the muddy roads takes more than 9 hours. At the end of this long journey, disappointment. Torrential rains have transformed this road into a river.
It's the wet season this time. We cannot cross to Bancador.
So we are not going to be able to get to that village.
Unable to move on, Molten Howe travels to Villaburi to spend the night.
The color was like the color of pork liver, and it was the same color all over his body.
Look like this color.
Ask him if he recognizes anything about the face or the body that relates to that forest man that he saw. Could he just point it out?
To encourage a more detailed description, Molten Howe provides a selection of pictures of known primates.
When I was small, my parents told me that I should be careful when going out to the forest and the jungle far away from home. They warned me, no giggling, no shouting out loud, otherwise the forest man would come and get me.
If folklore influences the accounts of local eyewitnesses, what about the stories of those unfamiliar with the mythology who also insist they have seen a mysterious creature? The large primates described by American soldiers during the Vietnam War are believed by zoologists to be a rare species known as the stump-tailed macaque. These elusive red-faced mammals can grow to a height of 4 feet. They are one of the largest known monkeys in the region. Are eyewitnesses confusing forest man sightings with those of known primates? Or have they caught a glimpse of a creature yet to be discovered by science?
The Vietnam jungles were mysterious places. I mean, everybody had a story and some guys had 3 or 4. I think there was a lot of wildlife out there that nobody's ever seen before.
Sankham's forest man hairs were recently tested by zoologists in the United States, but the results were inconclusive. The sample was too small to provide an accurate assessment.
The problem is, right now, it is all so elusive. There are the tracks, there are the drawings, but science says you have to have a body.
What is certain is that entirely new species are discovered all the time in the diverse jungles of Laos. But with only eyewitness accounts, the mystery of Indochina's forest man remains unsolved.
If there is any place on the planet where a holdover, some kind of a hominid not yet discovered could be, it could be up in those mountains in Laos where we were.
Do strange and otherworldly creatures really exist? Or is folklore playing on the minds of those who see? In the remote and unexplored lands of Asia, perhaps a hidden truth lies beneath the mythology, and one day, the mystery of these strange encounters will be revealed.